Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Shift Happens. In this video we will be covering all the active road safety features of the car, what features are bang on and what features are okayish. Okayish in a way where you cannot rely on them completely if it's raining or snowing. So let's begin the video and see what my thoughts are on that, and I'll be demonstrating them as well. Before moving forward with the video, I'd like to point out one thing. While editing, I came across few clips which had some noticeable background noises, and that was just because we had to take our kid with us, and since my wife was filming all these videos, she had to remain focused on the video part, whereas we had to give something to our child to keep him engaged, and that's why he was viewing some videos on YouTube which had those kids sounds and everything. So maybe there will be some noises that you'll hear in the background, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so now let's demonstrate the lane keep assist feature. For that we need to press this button over here, and as soon as I press that button, it shows that this feature has been turned on, and you can see that on the instrument cluster as well over there. So now let's try and go on the roads, and let's see how this car behaves when we try to go through the dashed lines. Okay, let me just pull here real quick. Let's wait for the oncoming traffic. We got our pocket, and let's move. Okay, perfect. So now everything out of the way, we have our lane keep assist on, and now let's try to swerve slightly towards left. I guess because of the rain, this feature is not able to find the dashed lines, and yes, this feature did not turn on. I mean, the feature did turn on, but the cameras didn't pick the dashed lines on the road up. That can be a serious issue when this feature is not in supervision. It may lead to fatality. It's better to have this feature under supervision, and always keep an eye if it has green lines on both the sides. In that way, it can be made sure that the car stays in the middle of the lane. If it's detecting just one of the lines to be green, that means it's taking just that side of the road as an input. Better not to rely on this feature at all. It should always be under supervision, and this is an okayish feature for me rather than being a bang on. The next day, however, the feature turned on and worked as expected, but not very well. It worked just enough so I can demonstrate it on the video and make you all aware how it works or what the criterias are to make it happen. But it was completely unexpected. Like, you cannot predict what's going to happen. Okay, so this next feature I'm going to show you is the active lane keep assist. For that, let's turn the button on from here. As you can see, the button has illuminated. Let me take a right turn first. Perfect. Yeah, here's the illumination of the button, and there's the button. There's the feature that has been activated on the instrument cluster. Now, for this feature, due to some weird reasons, it won't start unless until it reaches a set speed. So for example, right now I'm moving at 53 kilometers per hour, and if I try to if I try to move the car on the dashed lines, it won't do anything. It would just pass right by, as we saw over here, but that's not safe to do. So we need to go past a certain speed, and I'm guessing that's 70 kilometers per hour. Yes, now as you can see, the left part of that indicated feature, that turns green. So let me just go slightly beyond the speed. Okay, right now we are moving at 75. Yes, so it turns back on. Now it's watching the dashed lines, and it keeps us in the center of the lane. Now watch what happens when I try to go beyond those dashed lines. Okay. Yes, we just passed an intersection, so this just stopped. Let me activate it again. Okay, now it's activated. Let's try to, so see, it does not let me do so. Even if I try to do so, the steering takes care of the rest. It somehow does not detect the right side of the road. It just takes the left side of the road as an input and nothing else. So now let's activate it again and let's try to force it. Yes, so see, this happens. As soon as it detects that you are forcing it to go beyond the dashed lines, even if it's not allowed to do so, it swerves you back automatically back into the lane where it's safe. So that's the active lane keep assist. Another great feature would be if we zoom in on the instrument cluster, we can see there is a small 70 max sign written over there. That's basically what the cameras pick up on the roads. So let's say if you have any traffic signs that's depicting the speed limit, that camera recognizes that and keeps you aware of the speed limit in the current zone. So if I'm moving at 70, that's fine. But if I try to go beyond, yes, as you can see, that small 70 max has a red outline blinking. So yeah, these are some of the advanced features that this Jaguar I-Pace has. Okay, so now I'll be showing you how to set the adaptive cruise control in this car. As you can see, we have a toggle over here that says set plus and minus. So but to start the cruise control in this car, it's slightly different than the others, as usually there's a whole dedicated button in other cars, but in this one there's just this toggle. So let's start by setting it first. So press the toggle up, and as you can see, we have a green indication on the instrument cluster indicating the speed that we've set it on. Currently it's showing 42, and let me just pass this cool zone. Perfect, now we can move on. Okay, so now I'll set the speed to some unrealistic numbers such as 62 somewhere, 62, 72. Okay. The only reason for setting the speeds this high is to show you how adaptive cruise control works on this. There's a perfect example of a car in front. So what this car will do right now is it'll just follow the speed that the front car is going at. We can see that we have 76 kilometers per hour set speed, but still we are going at just 61 kmph. Why? Because this car follows the front car's speed, and we have an adjustment button over here how far you want to stay away from that car. Currently we have that level for 3. We can lower it down to 2, and then the car will try to go as near as possible to that car within those 2 step range. Since the car in the front has moved away, this car will resume the speed, but then we have to brake. And there it is. This was the main adaptive cruise control feature on this car. Now we've discussed the adaptive cruise control feature. There is one more take or a perk in this adaptive cruise feature, which is the stop and go function. Yes, this car comes equipped with the adaptive cruise control as well as the stop and go function. Let's reset and start the cruise control again. Okay, so we have our cruise control set at 54 kilometers currently. Let me set it up to slightly more, somewhere around 80, just so that the car picks up the front car's speed. Okay, now we are heading at the speed of what the car in my front is going at. Currently we are moving at 58 kilometers per hour, but we have set the 76 kilometer speed, and as you can see, I did not brake my car. The car did that on its own, following the speed of the car in the front. The interesting feature of the stop and go cruise function is the stop function. When this car stops at the red light, I do not need to press my brake at all. Yes, you heard that right. I do not need to press the brake unless and until I'm at a halt. Then when the light turns green, I just need to press the accelerator slightly so it resumes the speed that I set it at, and then it moves as usual. Let me demonstrate that to you once we get a red light. Okay, so this is the perfect time. Now, as you can see, I'm not applying the brakes at all. My foot is free, and the car comes to a complete stop if this car had stopped. Yes, so we are sitting at 1 kilometer per hour, but since this car resumed, oh yeah, and this part, since this car resumed moving before my car coming to a complete stop, it again resumed the acceleration, and now it's still following that car's speed. So basically this is the stop and go cruise functionality, that you don't need to stop or press the accelerator unless your car is in motion, even a slight bit. If it stops at 0, you just need to press the accelerator slightly, and then the adaptive cruise control resumes and takes over the control. So that's basically the bang on feature of this car. Okay, so now this signal has turned green and we can start moving forward. After the adaptive cruise control, now it's time for the limit feature. Now one may ask, what's the limit feature? Limit feature is a kind of mode on this car that allows you to have all the free speeds below the set speed. For example, let's start the limit feature. Once we start the limit feature, it reflects on the instrument cluster over there. Now let's say if I put the limit to be, oh sorry, I turned it off by mistake. Okay, let's set the speed to 60. Let's match the speed limit of the zone. So currently the speed limit of the zone is 60 kmph. Right now I'm going at 51. Now watch what happens when I try to press my foot all the way down. The car tries to accelerate, but it won't go beyond at all beyond the 60 mark. So basically I can press my foot as hard as I can on the accelerator right now, but the car won't go beyond that speed limit. But let's say if I just release my foot from the pedal, it can slow down to whatever speed it may feel free to go, or whatever speed I want to resume the car at. Right now it's going at 56, no problem. But as soon as I press the accelerator again, it goes to 60, but not beyond that. Now let's try to increase the limit to 66. Okay, now I'm pressing the accelerator again, it moves to 66, but not beyond that. So basically this is the best feature to have when you are in no tolerance speed zones. When there is a limit board that says 70 kmph or 80 kmph and one does not want to keep looking at the speed limit to match that board, then you can press this limit function and then the car won't go beyond that. So that's it. Okay, now this feature is mostly available on all the cars and this car is no exception. We have the blind spot monitoring system on either of the outside rear view mirrors, and we can see that in action, but we just have to wait for any other car to come into the radars of the sensor. Okay, here we are coming to a halt. Hopefully the car that's coming behind us might be able to, oh yeah, just for a second we had that. There you go. Again, let me just move forward. There you go. As you can see, this car on the left is in my blind spot currently, and so the rear view mirror shows that you cannot take a left turn just because of the collision avoidance system. So in a way, collision avoidance just tells us that there's a car by that light showing on the rear view mirror, the outside rear view mirror. But there's a system in this where if you try to swerve, if there's a car behind in the blind spot, the steering tries to turn you back inside the lane, but there's a setting that you need to enable it. So basically this was the blind spot monitoring and the active blind spot lane assist. So finally I'm back at home after filming the road safety video. Now I'll be meeting you guys in the next one, which will be the charging part of this car, which should be in a couple of hours, but that video will be a separate one. This was it for today. I hope you liked the video. Do comment if I have forgotten something, or if you have any other thoughts on the features that I have just shown or explained. If you feel that I haven't explained properly, or if you feel like I have left something, I'm more than happy to address your comments. So please like the video if you've liked. I'm not forcing anyone, but that's up to the viewers. So do leave a comment and share the video if you liked it. That will be my only request. So as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.